here. We're going to get started shortly. As you wait for folks to get here, please feel free to add your name and pronouns to your Zoom window. And don't forget to check out your digital swag bag using the link in the chat. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. In that link, you'll find some awesome goodies, including a Zoom background for the afternoon's event and instructions on how to use it. Welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome to our 2021 Game Changers event. Hey, hey, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome to our newcomers. Welcome to our 2021 Game Changers event. Thank you for being here. We're going to get started shortly. As we wait for folks to get here, please feel free to add your name and pronouns to your Zoom window. And don't forget to check out our digital swag bag using the link in the chat. There you'll find some awesome goodies, including a Zoom background for this afternoon's event and instructions on how to use it. Welcome, welcome again. Hey, y'all. Welcome to our 2021 Game Changers event. Welcome, 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 everybody. Hey, hey, welcome, welcome, everyone. Thanks for being here. We'll get started shortly. As we wait for folks to get here, please feel free to add your names and pronouns to your Zoom window. And don't forget to check out our digital swag bag using the link in the chat. There you'll find some awesome goodies, including a Zoom background for this afternoon's event and instructions on how to use it. Hey, hey, new friends. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, 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 everyone, to our 2021 Zeno Game Changers event. Hey, hey. Welcome, 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 everyone. As we're waiting for folks to come in, feel free to add your name and pronouns to your Zoom window. And don't forget to check out our digital swag bag using the link in the chat. There you'll find some awesome goodies, including a Zoom background for this afternoon's event and instructions on how to use it. Hey, hey, I just heard somebody else come in. Welcome, welcome, my friends. Welcome to our 2021 Game Changers event. As we're waiting for folks to come in, please feel free to add your name and pronouns to your Zoom window. Hey, hey. We also have a digital swag bag link in the chat for you. There's some awesome stuff in there to check out as well. Welcome, 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 everyone. If you just came in, please feel free to add your name and your pronouns to the Zoom window. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So glad to see y'all's faces on today.
I see some of our board members out there. Wave and say hi.
Hey, 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 y'all.
Hello, hello.
Welcome,
I'm so excited.
welcome. Welcome, everybody. We're getting started shortly. As we wait for folks to come on, please feel free to add your name and pronouns to your Zoom window. And don't forget to check out our digital swag bag using the link in the chat. In that link, you'll find some goodies that will kind of help us get through today. Hey, hey, welcome, welcome, everybody. I hear some newcomers. I see some new faces. Hey, hey. I'm excited. Yay. Welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome, y'all. Welcome, welcome. As we wait for folks to come, feel free to add your name and your pronouns to your Zoom window. Hey, hey, hey. And there also is a link in the chat, your digital swag bag link in the chat. Has some goodies in there for you to look up as well. Hey, hey, welcome, 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 everybody. We are getting started shortly. If you haven't already, please do put your name and your pronouns in the Zoom window. Welcome, welcome, everyone. I heard somebody new come in. Hey, hey, welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome. I hear newcomers coming in. We'll get started shortly. Hey, hey, welcome, welcome. Please feel free to add your name and your pronouns to your Zoom window. And don't forget to check out our digital swag bag using the link in the chat. There you'll find some awesome goodies, including a Zoom background for this afternoon's event and instructions on how to use it. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You see all of our cool backgrounds? You all have access to them as well. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We get started shortly. If you just came in, please feel free to put your name and pronouns on your Zoom window. Again, we have amazing backgrounds that you all too have access to, and your Zoom, or if you look in the Zoom chat in your digital swag bag, there's a link, and you can put up a background as well. Welcome, welcome.
Great. I guess we can give that instruction one more time, Jermel, and then we can toss it to Miley. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for joining us.
All righty. Hey, y'all. Welcome again. Thanks for being here. And we are getting ready to get started. And as we wait for folks to get here, or as people are coming in, feel free to add your name and your pronouns to your Zoom window. And don't forget to check out our digital swag bag using the link in the chat. There you'll find some awesome goodies, including a Zoom background for this afternoon's event and instructions on how to use it. And I am going to pass it on over to Miley.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Miley Hadley, Executive Director of Zeno, and I'm so grateful that you're joining us today to celebrate the power of learning through play and reflect on the importance of family and community. So welcome to Game Changers 2021 and our theme, Stay Together, Play Together. Zeno was founded as Explorations in Math by Keen Alston and a group of parents inspired by his vision. Alston's vision was an organization to disrupt the racist and indifferent educational systems that prevent children of color from realizing that they too are doers and lovers of math. For Alston, the family was a major launching point for his work, and it still is for Zeno today. Over the last 18 months, Zeno, we've doubled down on our commitment to the family math movement. We've supported over 6,000 families who found themselves at home and primarily responsible for their child's education during the stay-at-home decree. And I began my tenure as executive director a year ago in the midst of this pandemic. And my proudest moments came when both partners and families shared that our games and programming were not only fun and educational, but essential and needed. Our parents felt capable and resourced, guiding their child's education. At Zeno, we've always believed deeply that a child's parenting adult is their first and arguably most important teacher. And while COVID-19 might have forced this truth upon all of us, the reality is stay together, play together. It's a mantra for family bonding and learning that extends well beyond COVID-19. Our parenting adults have always been their child's first teacher, and the pandemic reminded all of us to slow down and remember the power of parents. So today, we gather to celebrate math, play, culture, partnership, and family. And before we get too into the program, I'd like you all to do something with me quickly. Just slow down, close your eyes, and take a breath. Yes. Recall an important moment, perhaps in childhood, where play and family intersected. Think about what you were playing and who you were playing with. Consider how and why it was this moment that came to mind for you, and perhaps how it even shaped who you are today. Think about how it felt. Recall the joy in that moment. Okay, you can open your eyes when you're ready. And thank you for everyone who did that with me. And for those of you who perhaps struggled to find a moment from childhood, but can imagine that connection and joy with loved ones, these are the kinds of experiences that Zeno hopes to create. These are the kinds of experiences that your support helps Zeno create in community. So as things continue to open and restrictions are lessened, it's my hope that we all remember to stay together and play together, because the world can keep us so busy, but the moments we slow down and pause and focus on one another, these are the moments we are truly most alive. So thank you again for joining us this afternoon, and to all of our sponsors and community members, my Zeno board and staff, for all of your work to put this game-changing afternoon together. And with that, let's begin the show. Please join me in welcoming Zeno's very own Jermel Witherspoon to the digital stage as our MC. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much, Miley, for that amazing welcome. And I echo your sentiments of gratitude for all of you amazing folks in this virtual world joining today. I'm Jermel, and I am a program manager here at Zeno, and I happen to be your MC for this afternoon. Now, we have so many exciting things in store for you today, including game highlights, a discussion with Zeno partners, and ultimately an opportunity for us to spend time together in the safest ways we know how these days. And before we go any further, I want to ground us. I want to ground us in a land acknowledgement. We begin today by just acknowledging the original stewards of the land that we're on. Zeno's office sits on the traditional land of the first people of Seattle, the Duwamish people past and present. So we take a moment to honor with gratitude the land itself and the Duwamish tribe. See, despite centuries of colonization, genocide, and racism, Indigenous people are still here. Because we're virtual this year, we encourage you to follow the Native Land link, and you can find that in the chat to learn more about the Native people in your area. See, we recognize the legacy of systemic oppression that enables us to be here because generations of Indigenous people have been displaced. We also recognize and honor the strength, the resilience, and the capacity of Indigenous folks in our region and from the regions you all are joining us from today. And we say to them, thank you. Now, as we move on in this program, I want to deal with a few housekeeping things before we get started. So we encourage you to join us with your videos on if you feel comfortable. Things like pets and kids and families, all of those things are welcome in this space. So please update your name in your Zeno Zoom window, your Zeno Zoom window. It can be all that. And please mute your mic to help us avoid noise interference, right? And we've put together a digital swag bag for you all. And you'll see that also in the chat. You'll find numerous goodies in your digital swag bag, including this awesome Zoom background that you see behind me. And you see some of us already have up in instructions on how to do that and how to put them in your background. So feel free to pop in and out to put those up if you'd like. And you'll also find bios for all of today's speakers. So there are a number of other goodies in the digital swag bag as well. And as we go through, we'll point some of those out and you can feel free to go in and out as you please. Now that the housekeeping things are out of the way, let's get this game-changing afternoon going because this is our fourth Game Changers event. I don't know if you all are excited as I am, but I am deeply excited, right? And this is the thing. We have this event. We love this event. And this year is no different. We were just talking about that as we were in the chat before y'all got here. Like, feel the energy of this space, right? Live into it. And let this be your opportunity to really understand and hear what we have to say at Zeno, and of course, to give. More than anything, it's a favorite tradition of ours because it gives us the chance to come together and build community to push us towards the world we envision. And that world is a racially just world where every child and family knows they are doers and lovers of math. Game Changers 2021 wouldn't be possible, though, without our very special sponsors and collaborators. So we have sponsors like community sponsors, Magic Cabinet Foundation, Honest to Goodness Personal Chef Services. We have our bronze level sponsors, Unified Consulting, Columbia Bank, KP Corps, First Republic Bank, Symmetric, and NAFSKI. We have silver, Microsoft Corporation, the Boeing Company, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Amazon, and Turner Construction. And our collaborators, Horn of Africa Services, Best Starts for Kids, Look, Listen, and Learn, all of which you'll hear from later in our program. And to our Zeno champions, many of you in the audience, thank you for your support to gather your friends and families to join us today. Now, with your support, Zeno reaches thousands of families each year by partnering with organizations that provide services to families with children ages 3 to 5. Our family engagement model includes Zeno Game kits that are aligned to early math learning trajectories. Our games are published in 10 different languages and represent the races, ethnicities, and cultures of the families we serve. And beyond games, we engage parenting adults in their child's learning through family math events. Each providers are integral math portions and practices. We help to kind of integrate those practices, right? And we work with providers to do that. And we offer professional development sessions that connect math to literature, racial equity, social emotional learning, and more. Now, in the spirit of our theme today, Say Together, Play Together, I want to share one of my favorite Zeno games. And this Zeno game is called Measure Me. Now, Measure Me is one of my favorites because it teaches kids to compare and measure while making silly creature friends, connecting puzzle pieces, and then comparing their size. Another exciting thing about Measure Me game is that it's one of our 5 games that we now sell, and they are available for sale in Washington State. And if you haven't heard, for the first time ever, Zeno games are available for sale. When you buy a Zeno game, you not only get an exciting game to play with a 3 to 5-year-old in your family, you also help Zeno give the gift of play to another child. Now, currently, we can only fulfill orders within the Washington State, but we're looking forward to providing our fun math games to families across the country as soon as we can. And you can see that other Zeno games are for sale by visiting the Zeno Game store on our website using the link in the chat. Again, there is a link in the chat. Now, I'd like to introduce you to my colleague and Zeno's program director, Juan Flores. And you can learn more about Juan by reading his bio that you can find where? In the digital swag bag using the link we're sharing where? In the chat. Okay? So please, please, please help me welcome Juan. Take it away, Juan.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining us this afternoon. I'm really excited. 5 years ago, I was drawn to Zeno because of our bold commitment to disrupt white supremacy's impact on children of color, developing a positive math identity. I am also grateful for the opportunity to participate in the evolution of Zeno's impact in communities. From the beginning, Zeno focused on elementary school kids working directly in schools with teachers. In the present, we've expanded our work to include over 100 community-based partners who allow us to reach a diverse set of communities and deepen our connection with families. It's been my pleasure to build meaningful and long-lasting relationships with each of our partners and to join them in sparking joy and inspiration of love, of learning, and math. One of my favorite games is Good Morning Farm. This game teaches addition and subtraction using farm animals. Kids let the animals in and out of their barns, and it's actually really fun to play as a whole family. Like Measure Me, Good Morning Farm can also be purchased in our game store. Working through partners is a major component of Zeno's equation for success. Engaging partners maximizes Zeno's ability to reach more children and families, and it gives us the opportunity to create positive mathy moments for children and families in a culturally specific way. Last year, we distributed over 31,000 games and generated over 1 million minutes of play. I said 1 million. Our Zeno with Community program provides flexible support for partners that's rooted in cultural understanding, community knowledge, and personal connection. During the process, we strengthen the connection between early math skill development and racial equity. I can go on and on about community-based programming, but it's better to hear about it from the people who were involved. Over the past 3 years, Zeno has collaborated with Best Starts for Kids, a King County initiative to support happy, healthy, safe, and thriving communities, and Horn of Africa Services, a nonprofit committed to supporting East African immigrants and refugees attain immediate and long-term adjustment in Seattle and the King County area. In this collaboration, we co-designed and implemented a train-the-trainer model that brought our Zeno professional development workshops to family child care centers in the Oromo community. Let's check out what Dahabe from Horn of Africa and Christina with Best Starts for Kids had to say with their experience with Jamel.
And the theme of this year's Game Changers is staying together, playing together. And so, with that theme being over our heads, I want to ask you all, what's one of your favorite games to play with other people? And maybe do you even have a favorite Zeno game that you like to play with other folks? How about that? And maybe I will start with Dahabe.
Okay, great. Yeah, I actually did a lot of about 6 training this year, 6 different games and with the Zeno. And one of my favorite out of the 6 is the Zeno Bear, which is our first game that we do with providers. I've seen that I've played it with my cousin, and my cousin seemed to love it because it's something that kids really enjoy, especially the part that you have to hide the Zeno bear and they have to go and look for it is the fun part. So that's my favorite one.
Cool beans. Everybody loves to hide Zeno.
Hey, I see a little bit of a delay.
All right. How about you, Christina?
A game my family played a lot was Taboo.
Can we pause it?
It was really fun.
Hey, y'all, we see a little bit of delay, and we have a luxury of having this recorded beforehand. So we're going to run it back real quick, if that's okay with y'all, and give it time to load up and going. So thank you for your patience during this. And Brandon, when you're ready, you can reshare.
And the theme of this year's Game Changers is staying together, playing together. And so, with that theme being over our heads, I want to ask you all, what's one of your favorite games to play with other people? And maybe do you even have a favorite Zeno game that you like to play with other folks? How about that? And maybe I will start with Dahabe.
Okay, great. Yeah, I actually did a lot of about 6 training this year, 6 different games and with the Zeno. And one of my favorite out of the 6 is the Zeno Bear, which is our first game that we do with providers. I've seen that I've played it with my cousin, and my cousin seemed to love it because it's something that kids really enjoy, especially the part that you have to hide the Zeno bear and they have to go and look for it is the fun part. So that's my favorite one.
Cool beans. Everybody loves to hide Zeno bear.
Yeah.
All right. How about you, Christina?
A game my family played a lot was Taboo. It was really fun. Trying to guess the words, and I think the buzzer was my favorite part because I'm the baby in the family, so that was my job.
All right. Thank you. All right, so Christina Dahabe, can you describe the collaboration between Zeno, Horn of Africa, and Best Starts for Kids?
I think this Zeno program was very powerful, and it had impacted my community to greater level. One thing I love about the Zeno is that it is very representative of all of the nationals that live in the U.S. Despite the religion or language and all that. So in each one of the game, you feel that you do resonate with these games. It represents. Sometimes you see Muslims on the game, so you feel like, yeah, Muslim can play this too. And when children actually get to see those things, it does have a big impact. And one thing that I've heard from our providers and that they've been mentioning a lot of times are they say like, hey, one thing I love about this is that the trainings are actually being given in their native language, in their primary language, which they love about. They've never seen something like this before. They've never got trainings that is specialized to their career field, and that is being given in their native language. So that was one thing that they would always appreciate about Zeno Game, and I also feel appreciative about it, having to serve my community in their native language, teaching them and showing them and guiding them on how they can best support the children that come to their centers. So this means the Zeno Games means a lot to Horn of Africa as well as our family.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Anything in particular you'd like to share, Christina?
The only thing that I would add is that for the Best Starts for Kids Innovation Fund specifically, we used a model called Frontiers of Innovation from the Harvard Center on the Developing Child. And so that was kind of the model for designing this program, and then building a theory of change, building program materials, evaluation, and going forward with, how do you keep track of the changes in your program, and how do those inform how you iterate a program and change quickly. And so that, while that's the part that I've specialized in, it's actually been very rewarding to see how Zeno has paid so much attention to what really matters to the Oromo speaking community and use that to inform their innovation, rather than just some metrics that they wanted to meet. So I think that's been one thing that's been a highlight for me.
I love it. No better way to collaborate than to know the community that you're serving, right? And that you are in service to on both ends. Amazing, amazing. All right, all right. So my next question, I kind of want to know about the experiences that you all have had together and the highlights of the partnerships that you all have had with us at Zeno.
I think I've loved working with Zeno. Specifically, I would like to thank Juan. I've been working a lot with him. And the part I love about our partnership is that Juan is very flexible with the scheduling, with our and very understanding of our families and the circumstances that come up. So, all those things have nurtured our partnership, and also like being understanding of each other, and being reasonable, adjusting to the circumstances. All those have been nurturing and have been helping us continuing our partnership.
Thank you for that. How do you think the providers have been impacted by this program? Not just kind of where it is during COVID, but just in general, right? And you can add where it is during COVID as well, what it has been. And were there any specific moments that you can think of, any stories that kind of harp on this provider's experience, the provider's experiences?
This program has been very much impactful to my community, especially the theme that we had this year was very profound and different than last year. This year, I feel like the providers were very much deeply impacted through the trainings that we're being given in the games. And some days we have these PowerPoints throughout the trainings, and there are days that I'm not able to finish or go through the slides that I prepared, that is prepared by Zeno, and that I go through with the providers. And there are some days that we're not able to go through each one of the slides because the providers just have so much to say on the discussions, so much relating stories that they share that the time is not even enough to go through the slides and share the information. And this year, what makes it very different is that we were communicating a lot about racial equity, which our community are not really used to the topic or discussing the topic as much in my community. Because I, as an immigrant, we have a lot of us have this imagination of, America being, that perfect place that everybody's equal, you have equal education opportunity and job, and you just see United States as like one great place to ever be in, and that everything is perfect. So we all come into that mindset, you know. So it's very hard for our families our families when they come here to really understand the depth of the roots, the problems that are existing in this country, the racisms that are there, the problems that our children are facing at schools, or at systematic racism and all that. So they're not really aware of this. So us having this discussions and them sharing their stories was really powerful, and somewhere from my experience, some were really shocked knowing that this systematic racism actually exists even in school. They don't know what their children are going through at school. If they have a child that is dropped out of school, all the blame is only on the child, not understanding the full the full problem that is making this child to drop out of school, or what is really going on, without studying the root problems that is going on with the school and with the child, So my community is more like blaming the child. Hey, you're not doing the right thing because you're just not doing well. That's why you're out of school and you're just dumb and stuff like that. So we want to make sure that we educate our families. We want to tell them, hey, there's more into dropping out of school. There's more into sending kids to school. Are they really getting the right support? Are they being treated the same way their white folks are getting treated? So Juan was there on all of our meetings, and he have seen that the family, these providers that I do meetings with are not only the providers, but they're also parents. They have children that they gave birth to in this country. They have children that are going to schools, universities, and all that. So they do have a lot of experience, and they have a lot to share. And one of the sad story that I would share, that I would reframe from our providers, is that one of our providers shared that she went to school with her child, and it was, I think, like a gathering for parents meetings, and they go with their children. So there was a teacher, a white teacher there, and she was asking questions to the children. And she said all the kids raised their hand, and her child also was raising her hand. And the teacher was asking quite a few questions, and never gave a chance, even one chance, to provide an answer for this child. So all of her peers that raised their hand got a chance to answer it or participate, but this child was not even given one chance to answer it. And the mother was, as a parent that she was there, she was really upset because the child had her hand up, on all of the questions, but never got a chance once. So she was really upset. And also the problem right there that she shared was there was also language barrier. So she did not really have a chance to express her frustration, her anger at the moment, because the child is feeling sad, the mother is feeling frustrated and angry, but where is the language support there that she could share her feeling? And with the language that she had, with the way she explained it was broken English, she said she went up to the teacher and said, hey, this isn't fair, how come you didn't give chance to my child? So the teacher was just like reluctant. She's like, oh, I didn't mean it that way, I did not really mean to not give a chance to your child. But just that message, can tell you how much racism there is. So the mother went home feeling really sad and upset about it. And imagine what our kids, East African kids, or, community of color in general, are going through every day in school. And another provider also shared that, so there's a lot of stories, and I'm trying to remember about racism, another provider shared, so when she went to school with her child, and one of the teacher actually used the N-word to the child. Imagine, the Negro N word to the child. So imagine a child going to school to actually learn or, gain education, but they're told or, this type of, being called by this type of words. So, families are sharing these types of frustrations and angers during our trainings and meetings. So, this training has given them space to share their thoughts and their feelings by their own language. And also what we're making sure is that their feelings are validated, that we're hearing them, that we understand. And also one other thing I would share is I told them, why don't you guys speak up about this? Why don't you complain to schools? Whatever you're going through, this is unfair. This is racism. You should speak up. And they actually said they would always speak about these things, even to the schools, but schools are not doing anything about it. They're like, it's just non-worthy of speaking, or if they speak, it's just nobody's gonna do anything about it. Why talk about it then, So it's very sad. Yeah.
Thank you for that. This just makes me appreciate even the more the fact that we center families of color, that we center folks who, not that don't have a voice, but whose voice has been just quieted. And we never, ever want them to feel, or us to feel, like they have to be quiet in any space again. And so thank you for that. It's so funny because you kind of went into my next question. You must clearly read minds because we're talking about, my next question was simply, why are collaborations like this so important in communities? Goodness. And you just said a handful. If you want to kind of harp on that a little bit, or if somebody else wants to kind of take that question, why these collaborations, I think we just got so much richness out of that. Anybody else kind of want to talk about why these collaborations are so important?
I can say coming from the side of both like academics and government, doing community collaborations or community-driven projects, whether it's Zeno having a partnership with a community-based organization or funding a community-based organization to do that work, I think gets at where the impact is, and not just going for the biggest impact that you could possibly have. And I know with this project specifically, like, the Aramo speaking East African community is not the largest community in Seattle, but that you can make a really big difference when you start to pay very close attention to people's experiences. As Zeno says, like when you hone in on race, place, and culture. So I think that's one of the things is that the impact at the community level really does make a difference in people's lives. And it may not be something you could put a headline on, but that if you can make a difference in how a child feels about school or how a family feels about their child's education, that changes a lot about how people think about children, families, and children and families of color, and how they think about math as well. So that's why I think it's important.
Yeah, it's amazing because at Zeno, we deeply, deeply believe that parenting adults are children's first and most important teachers, right? And empowering the parents and empowering the parenting adults and empowering the actual child is so deeply important. So at Zeno, we believe that math is an ancestral right, that there is no culture that exists without math. So can you all talk a little bit about where math shows up in your cultural traditions?
So I have a mixed family. My father is from Ecuador and my mom is a white American woman with family from the Midwest. So I can say on my father's side, my dad is a mechanical engineer and his family was really into cars. And so I had just always associated, math really isn't in that culture. It's only once my dad came to America that like he learned about math. And I remember going back the first time to Ecuador and going to Peru and learning about the indigenous populations there and how like there's a quipo, which is like a rope that you use for calculations that you can, it's like a portable abacus that you wear the rope around you, and that just seeing all the architecture that the Incans built, I was like, wait, how come no one told me that this was deeply rooted in the indigenous populations in Ecuador, even before colonizers came over. So that was one on my father's side. On my mother's side, I remember learning algebra and really wanting to teach my grandma, because my grandma said that she couldn't do math. She flat out said she couldn't do math. And I remember trying to explain algebra to her, and she just got really frustrated. And so she just put it away. But then later that day, I saw her balancing the checkbook, and I asked her like where she learned how to do that. And she told me, well, you know, my father owned a store in the middle of like Montana. And so we had to do a lot as children, balancing like the supplies that were coming in and when things were coming, how much was left. And I tried to point out to her, I was like, Grandma, you know how to do algebra. Like, you just don't know that it's called algebra. And you've done it so that your family survived. And so I think those are two places that I think of when I think about like cultural ancestry of math.
Thank you, Christina. How about you, Dabe?
With my culture, so I come from Ethiopia, and I'm mainly from Oromo culture. I come from Oromo culture, and the language we speak is Afan Oromo. So I would say there are many things that I can mention, but one of the things that always amazes me here since I moved to US is that, you know, knowing, especially the woman in my culture, knowing how to prepare meals, special meals, and not having to, you know, write recipes. Like I've never heard of, you know, somebody have to, you know, write recipe for a food in Ethiopia or in my culture. I've never seen that. Even once they come to US, they just know the right size, what to use, the amounts. You know, they don't need to measure the water, not need to measure the flour they use. So, but coming to US and having to see people using all different measures, 1 cup or 2 cups or stuff, you know, is not being used in my culture. You know, they already just know from like growing up and having to cook, they just know what to use and the size and the amount and all that. So that always amazes me. I feel like that just comes from, you know, growing up in this culture and just knowing the right size and also just speaking a little bit about my religion also. I am a Muslim person, so we also value math a lot in Islamic perspective because Middle Easterns usually use a lot of math and architects and all that. So math has a big value, and even with the providers that I do the Zeno trainings, we don't only share the culture aspect, we also share the religion. We all are the same religion, so we kind of tend to understand each other in all of the ways. They're all Muslims and they're all Afan Oromo speaking, so we're very much connected and related. So whatever I talk makes sense to them, even coming to math, right? So yeah, I think that's all I can say.
All right. Thank you. I've so loved this conversation. Is there anything else that you all want to share about the project and about kind of your experience thus far?
I guess what I want to say from Horn of Africa Services, you know, I really do believe this program was very impactful. Having to work with, you know, the Zeno for the past 2 years, I feel like this program is very, very impactful for any community. From the evaluations that I had a couple of weeks ago with our providers, they were actually giving suggestions that we should have this type of trainings for even all other languages that are existing in the United States, not only for Afan Oromo speaking. We believe that this program can be useful and is beneficial for all other language speakers. So they were giving us suggestions that we should really interpret and give trainings in primary language the same way the Afan Oromos are getting, that we should give the same similar types of training for other languages too. I feel like that was really nice of them giving suggestion. I feel like they felt that this was impactful and that they're willing for other language speakers that they should really receive the same training and should really also benefit the same way they did. And also I want to emphasize that the providers were mentioning that the kids at their daycare, we are really always waiting excitedly about the games that they get every month, and they love the fact that they get to take the games home after having to play with the providers. As we know, kids love to take things home. Like if they get something new, they want to take it home and show it to their parents and friends and all that. So they loved that fact. So I believe this is such a great program. We love working with the Zeno. Horn of Africa have been doing a great work with Zeno, and would like to continue this partnership. And we hope that this gets funded and we do this all the year, like next year and in the future too. Hopefully we can expand it more. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Any more last comments?
I wanted to say I was surprised by the ways that this program impacted not only my thinking, but like my life. Like, so in thinking as a researcher, just hearing from Zeno that they had decided they weren't going to record sessions or discussion groups because that wasn't respectful to the Oromo speaking community, or that it's an oral language, so written materials weren't going to make as much sense as doing things verbally. It really kind of shifted my thinking of like, oh, I didn't know you could do that. I thought you were required to do these things this way. So seeing Zeno's flexibility and seeing how they've taken those chances away from kind of traditional models has changed my thinking and expanded my thinking. And then also, just being involved in this project, even though I'm not as close to it, I met one of my neighbors and they were telling me that they were from Ethiopia. And I asked, oh, do you speak Oromo? And they said, how did you know that that's a language in Ethiopia? And I was like, oh, because I do this one project. And it turned out my neighbor was looking at applying for a Best Starts for Kids position. And I was like, yeah, like they focus on these different communities. So I got to share that, but also that I then asked her, like, is your family back home okay? And she was even more shocked than that. Like, how do you know that anything, like, just like, thank you for asking that. They're doing fine now. Now we got a hold of everybody. But I knew that because talking to Juan and the relationship that Juan and Dahabe have, and learning about what's happening like around the Tigris region and the outages of the internet and communication, just knowing those things then translated into my own life and neighborhood and how I could form a connection with my neighbor. And just the look on her face of like, somebody knows about our community, and that was really meaningful to her. And that I could also connect her and show her like, oh, something you've been thinking about for a career does look at your community and does focus on like wanting to empower your community with public dollars. So those are two ways that I think about how this project has touched me personally.
Thanks, y'all.
All righty. Do me a favor, y'all, because I've done some things today that have kind of messed up my flow. I need to come back into this space in the best way possible. So please say this with me. Symmetra. Symmetra. Thank you.
Got you.
Yes. So as you all probably heard earlier, and no one unmuted themselves and told me I was wrong. So shame on you all. I said whatever I said before, but Symmetra is one of our sponsors that we love and that we do not want to mispronounce their name. So please forgive me for that, you all, as we go on in this space, okay? And while we are thanking, I also want to thank Dahabe and Christina for sharing their thoughts and experiences with us at Zeno. And I encourage those of you in the audience to find some time to watch that full conversation. It is a beautiful conversation. It shares richer and more interesting insights than what we've seen here. And guess where you can find that conversation? Guess. Okay, in the digital swag bag. And guess where that link will be?
In the chat.
Oh, you all are good. All righty. Now, when working with partners, providers, and families to build math habits, whether in the classroom or at home, Zeno relies on our 5 practices. These 5 practices harness the power of play and family bonding for learning. Now, our next speaker, one of my personal favorites, Val Thomas Matson, gives us her take on how we can stay together and play together using Zeno's 5 practices. Now, Val is the creator and executive producer of Look, Listen, and Learn TV. And she's joining us from the Look, Listen, and Learn set. So let's give it up for Val.
Hello, I'm Val Thomas Matson, the creator and executive producer of Look, Listen, and Learn TV. We're a new early learning TV show airing on local public access stations and on YouTube. LLL TV is rooted in racial equity, early learning brain science, and radical joy. Here's a quick peek at who we are and what we do.
You are the best. Look, Listen, and Learn. It's a new commercial-free TV show specially designed for preschoolers.
We're all so different.
That's what makes each and every one of us so special.
Look, Listen, and Learn incorporates the latest brain development research about early learning. It's the TV show that prepares preschoolers for school.
And remember, you're the best you that the world will ever see. As you can see, we at LLL TV are on a mission. We're on a mission to inspire and advance early learning in young Black, Indigenous, and other children of color, just like our friends at Zeno Math. And at LLL TV, we're inspiring a love of learning by using media, TV, as a tool. Zeno is doing it by inspiring a love of learning by using math. So, how can we all help to raise up this generation? By using Zeno's 5 practices for creating math habits, which are also 5 habits or practices that work to spark and instill a value for lifelong learning. Using one or all 5 will help us to stay together and play together for greater solutions through, number 1, exploring. I want you to stop right now and think, what's tickling your fancy? What are you, your family, or your company curious about? Think about it. When was the last time that you looked into exploring something that you're interested in? For example, I'm a bit bored with my cooking these days. Everything is beginning to taste similar because I always use the same seasoning. It's the Creole or the garlic pepper. Well, it's time to mix it up a bit in my kitchen. This summer, I came up with a new hibiscus iced tea using dried hibiscus flowers with a touch of Trader Joe's candy ginger. Oh, it was so yummy. Now I'm encouraged and I'm curious to continue exploring other seasonings and tastes. In our journey to stay together and play together, it's important that we also, number 2, talk together. We've got to keep talking, y'all. Let's talk about what's bothering you and what you're excited about. Let's talk about race and social justice. And as Dr. Danielson of UW Medical Center Pediatrics said recently, let's talk about how we can celebrate the genius of Black children in our communities. Number 3, let's connect together. If we think about it, connecting is really the other side of talking. We connect as we listen to one another, other creatures, our creator, with nature, the world, and our innermost thoughts. Another way to stay together and play together is number 4, build together. Through exploration, talking, and connecting, we can build back better, to borrow on another phrase from our current administration. Zeno encourages us to introduce a challenge to our early learners and work with them to help them to move through that challenge so they begin to discover and understand solutions. Zeno's 5 practices aren't set in any specific order, but for me, I think this last practice I'll share today is what we all need more of: play. Play with your early learners, play as a family, play with your partners, and by all means, relax and enjoy your own company. A game that brings our family tons of joy is Categories. It's a fast, furious, and fun word game of lists that has 3 rounds. I like to make up seasonal lists for my crew, and we have a blast. Dear friends, LLL-TV and Zeno are deeply committed to raising generations of early learners to make the world we live in a better place, and we need your help. Visit both of our websites, family pages on Zeno and the resources pages at Look, Listen, and Learn TV for more information to explore, talk, connect, build, and play together.
Thank you, Val. My name is Jay Goyle, and I am proud to be Zeno's board chair. Val, I'm so grateful that Look, Listen, and Learn TV is part of this community, and I want to thank you for your kind words and commitment to change the game in early learning. When I joined the Zeno board 3 years ago, I was drawn to the organization because of its unique vision to ensure that children of color know that they are doers and lovers of math. Little did I know that Zeno wasn't alone. We are part of a thriving community of organizations like Look, Listen, and Learn, all working to realize a more equitable future and believe we can get there through education. Like everyone before me, I too have a favorite Zeno game. Are we there yet? I love how this game takes something simple, racing and parking vehicles, to teach counting up to 20 and introduces the concept of a number line, critical for early math skills. And what speaks to me about the game is the title. Can there be a better title than the 4 most annoying words a parent has to hear from a child? I've had to hear this thousands of times. Of course, we want children to enjoy the journey, but kids want to get to the destination so they can play. You know, there's a certain kind of magic when we learn through play. We develop skills and knowledge through the game, but it happens almost on its own. There's no force, no push, no pull. Rather, we come to powerful truths about the world around us through our intuition, observation, and experiences. That's what makes play a powerful tool for learning, and what makes staying together and playing together so important. And while I may have more patience than my kids in a car ride, in many ways, I'm also saying, are we there yet? Much too often, without really understanding what it takes to get there. But Zeno doesn't come into communities saying we have all the answers. It doesn't tell partners, here are some games, play them this way, and you'll be all set. Instead, we listen. Zeno understands these communities of color are more than a statistic. Their unique race, language, and culture all play a role in their feelings about math and math education. Instead of pushing those factors aside for the ease of uniformity, we learn how parents teach and play with their kids, what language is most comfortable for the community, and which cultural traditions influence their learning habits most. For me, games were an essential part of my childhood, and now an essential part of my parenting. My mom is the most willing game player I've ever met, and my brother and I are now the same with our kids. she always understood how play impacted learning. We played some classics. Boggle was great for vocabulary and spelling, Monopoly for counting and math. But we also played games Bridge, and it probably helped me learn logic more so than anything else I've ever done in my life. Through play, we build positive emotions toward learning. We create safety and confidence in our skills, which support and enhance children's abilities to learn in school. And what is more, play helps us improve the bond between members of the family who share experiences and create memories. As we heard from Dahabe with Horn of Africa Services, Zeno commits to the communities we partner with. This is the only way to make lasting change possible. Right now, you can help Zeno spread the magic of math, play, and family engagement to more families and partners this year. A gift from you today gives families a chance to create their own version of that memorable, playful moment that many of us recalled earlier with Miley. Help Zeno continue to change the game for families looking to stay together and play together for years to come. You can make your gift using the link in the chat or texting Zeno, Z-E-N-O, to 50155. Again, that's texting Zeno, Z-E-N-O, to 50155. I think a day ago, we were $25,000 away from our fundraising goal. I think we're probably closer now. Someone can maybe put in the chat if they want. I know we're probably getting closer, but we're still not all the way there. So if you're not sure about what amount to give, consider a gift at the Pi level. A Pi level gift is a donation of $314. Get it? Not only does a Pi level gift get us closer to raising $25,000 today, but it also honors Rose Boyle, an early board member of Zeno and an amazing advocate for the organization. Rose knew the potential math has to open doors and inspire kids to change the game and the world. She passed away in 2012, and since her passing, we've honored her each year with the Rose Boyle Pi level donation amount. If you're looking for ways to amplify your impact, please consider joining our Infinity Club. You become an Infinity Club member by setting up a recurring gift to Zeno. A monthly or quarterly donation gives Zeno the ability to plan more boldly into the future. You can set up a gift like this using the link in the chat and specifying the frequency of your gift on the donation form. Anyone who signs up to be an Infinity Club member during Game Changers is entered into a raffle to win a series of Zeno games or a Stay Together, Play Together gift basket. We'll give folks a minute or two to make their pledges at that Pi level, of course. And, off the cuff here a little bit, as you're thinking about what size pledge to make, we have that raffle if you're an Infinity Club member. Also, if you donate at the Pi level, I will promise you that I will buy you Are We There Yet? I will send that to you personally, and so that you can play that over the holidays with a preschooler in your life. Appropriate music here for all of us. And if you're inspired by our event today, you can support the movement by sharing the recap video of Game Changers 2021, which you'll be getting, with your friends and family, and invite them to support Zeno too. We are confident that they'll be just as compelled as we are today to help Zeno spark joy and inspire a love of learning and math. Before I toss it back to Jermel to close us out, on behalf of the Zeno board, I want to thank you again for spending your time with us today and joining us this afternoon, and for all of your wonderful support of Zeno. Jermel?
All righty. I hope y'all are giving those dollars. It's what we need. Thank you so much, Jay. I appreciate that. What a wonderful afternoon this has been. You all are amazing. You all are amazing. Now I'm going to say it again. This might be the last time I say it in this setting, but do not forget to check out the goodies we have for you in the digital swag bag, right? And all of this is included in there. We have the full-length video from this afternoon's program. We have a few special games for you all to play with, your families. We have more information about our guests. So many different things are in that swag bag. So please, please, please do not forget to go to the link in the chat and get your swag bag. All righty?
And we know we are hitting 1:00, a little over past. So we're going to do a final thank you to you all and our sponsors. And then Jamal has a very special closeout for us. So Jamal, I'm going to toss it back to you, and just being mindful that I know some of you are probably logging off because it's 1:01. But if you bear with us for a minute, we're almost done.
Almost done. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to our community, to Magic Cabinet Foundation, Honest to Goodness Personal Chef Services, our Bronze Unify Consulting, Columbia Bank, KP Corp's First Republic Bank, say it with me, Symetra, and Nafsky. Silver, Microsoft Corporation, The Boeing Company, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Amazon, and Turner Construction. And our collaborators, Dahabe with Horn of Africa Services, Christina with Best Starts for Kids, and Val with Look, Listen, and Learn. To all the many minds and hearts that have gone into this year's Game Changers and made it possible, thank you, including our speakers, our Zeno champions, and you, our audience. We couldn't have done this without you. Thank you for spending your lunch hour with us today and for your generosity. A few of us Zeno champions might be staying after in some breakout rooms to chat for a little bit. If you have time, you can. If not, that is totally okay. We are going to end with the song that we end with in our virtual gatherings with our families and our kiddos. I'm going to teach it to you, and then we're going to sing it together, and we're going to be out of here. Keep giving while we're singing. Already? I'm going to teach it to you. It goes, goodbye, so long to you, my friends. Goodbye for now, until we meet again. Goodbye for now, until we meet again. Can you do this with me? Goodbye, so long to you, my friends. Goodbye for now, until we meet again. Goodbye for now, until we meet again. Bye-bye, my friends. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.